Hi, I wanted to do a short reading for you today from a rather unusual deck that I have, simply as a way of showing it off to you because it's rather enchanting and curious, and also to play around with what comes up and to see how it speaks to us. It's a deck that's all about the moon. And so that's its inspiration, and it's a handcrafted deck, so it's made by somebody that's illustrated it themselves and then self-published it, and so there's a lot of love and care and detail that's been put into its creation. So it comes in this really beautiful little sleeve that's got this gold calligraphy on it, and it's called Moon Angels, and it's a set of divination cards and a book following the cycle of the moon. And it was produced in 2015, so it's quite old now, but it's still really beautiful and really contemporary, I think. And the author is Rebecca Erev. So that's a really beautiful deck. There might be more of an explanation in the beginning, perhaps, about it. So yeah, basically it's a Hebrew deck, and it says that basically it's called Moon Angels, and it says, although not always common knowledge, in Judaism feelings are angels, messengers, guides along a path. Another facet of Judaism is that it looks to the moon, following a lunar calendar instead of the Gregorian solar one. So if you go on the website of this author, which should be listed here somewhere. Yeah, so it's Rebecca with a K, A-H, and then erevdesigns.com. I don't know if you can read that there. But there are lots of details about the deck online, and the story about its creation, which I think is really beautiful. And I think there's a video up there as well, because I discovered this deck a while ago, and I think it was while I was following some kind of a summit, because I remember watching a video about her and being inspired by that and thinking I have to have this deck. So that's the deck, and the back of the cards all have this little design on them. And I thought that I would just ask the cards what message we need to hear right now, today, and see what card comes up, read it kind of intuitively, and then read what's written in the little booklet as well. The booklet has very, very short explanations of the cards, because they're meant to be kind of like how you intuitively read the image, and they're really abstract. So maybe you're seeing what I'm seeing, but maybe you're seeing something completely different, and that's also really relevant, because what you see intuitively within the card will be the message that is the most important to you. So if you see what I see, that's brilliant, but if you don't, whatever you see in the card is the message that you are meant to receive today, and that's really important to take note of and to honor, and also trust yourself, have confidence in yourself that the message that you receive upon looking at the card is the one that you have kind of brought through. So I'm going to shuffle the cards. Quite fun to work with as well, because they're square. This is an oracle deck as well, not tarot deck. Okay, so So the card that we got was number 15, And this is the image. So it's rather a bleak image, actually. Like, I look at this image and I feel cold, I feel sad, I feel lonely, I feel a bit bereft, like I feel abandoned when I look at this image. And I feel hopeless, almost. Like I'm not feeling what I was searching for. Like the question that I asked was like, you know, how can we be a better mother to ourselves? And maybe the message is that, sorry, I have to look at it for a minute. Maybe the message is that like we're ungrounded. Like there's a like a planet or a piece of the moon down here, which is like the Earth, perhaps. And then up here, this little slither, this little crescent of moon is us, perhaps. So we're floating, untethered, ungrounded. And then all of this here, this is like the rest of the world, the rest of the stuff that's going on out there. And we're kind of turning our face to it, and we're looking to it to fill us up, to sustain us, to comfort us, to hold us, to guide us. And we're kind of missing the point, because we're seeing ourselves as this tiny little slither with this big hole in the center. You know, we're seeing ourselves as this image here, which is kind of like, it's half filled but it's half empty as well. So I kind of feel like we're looking to the outside world for comfort, and we're seeing like the rat race of people just rushing about their day and doing the daily kind of like grind, minding their own business, and they're all following one another, doing exactly the same thing. It's kind of like a herd mentality. There are very few of these people going out on a limb and doing their own thing. There are a few. Yeah, there's a kind of like a little rebellious one here and a few up here that are kind of trying to do something different. For the most part, they're all just like following the grain. They're doing what everyone else is doing. And we're looking to these people, especially the ones that are just doing exactly the same as everybody else. We're looking to them for the answer, for help, for advice, for guidance, for inspiration, for comfort, for grounding. And we're coming up empty, like none of it's going in, none of it's helping, none of it's sticking, because we're looking in the wrong place. And I think this card is trying to tell us, like, you know, we're like this. If you look at it like this, it almost looks like a bowl and grains of rice, or a cup sitting next to a plate looking to be filled up with water. Or it could be a boat under a stormy rain cloud, and the boat is trying to sail across a slightly choppy sea. These are perhaps the waves, and this storm cloud keeps following it. And it's the cloud of conformity. It's the cloud of doing the same as everybody else, of fitting in. And we don't want to fit in because we don't fit in. We're not like everybody else. We don't want to be like everyone else. We don't see that as the answer. We don't see that as the way that we are supposed to be, and we don't see it as the way towards happiness. And yet we keep feeling like we ought to look to these people because we feel alone, we feel outside, we feel separate. And that's blocking us. It's blocking our happiness. It's blocking our sense of security. We desperately want to feel connected. So that is the hole within us, and the mothering that needs to be done is to find a way of feeling connected without being the same. to find a way of loving ourselves without conforming and fitting in, to stop looking outside of ourselves and instead realize that the wisdom and the love is within us already. We already have it. We don't need to find it anywhere else. We have it within us. And if we don't have it within us right now, within this body and within this mind, we can reach forwards across time or back across time or to the side, even into a quantum world. And we can draw that wisdom and that insight and that guidance and that love and that compassion and empathy from our other selves, from the us that walked before, that lived a different life, or from our ancestors, and from the us who will be born into another life after this life, or who is up there looking down on us. You know, there are many versions of ourselves who can step in and be of use to us when we're kind of stumbling and struggling. I think that's what this card is trying to say. It's just like, trust yourself more. Stop looking outside. Realize that you have all of the answers within. You just need to start looking there instead of elsewhere. So now I'm going to find it in the booklet. It's called Moon Angel, this one. And it says, you are a mammal, you are soft. Air touches your skin. Remember a hand on your cheek. Remember when fire was new and the cold rock we call the moon rested its memory in your chest. I'll read that again. You are a mammal, you are soft. Air touches your skin. Remember a hand on your cheek. Remember when fire was new and the cold rock we call the moon rested its memory in your chest. So I'm not going to speak about what that brought up in me, because it's kind of a poem, really, more than anything else. And it's a question more than an answer. And so I think that how you interpret it is far more powerful than any meaning that I attribute to it. And because it's not my explanation, all I can do is second guess anyway what the author was intending, whereas my intuitive reading of this card was very much me from my felt response to it. So I hope you enjoyed that reading from a very, very different kind of a deck. I'll show you a few of the other cards as well. Like there's this card. There's this card. There's this card. See, they're all very, very different. There's this one, which is nothing at all. I mean, they're very, very, very different. This one's rather lovely. This is the one I got. This is the one I got a couple of days ago when I just did a reading on myself, and it's quite funny. I kind of did my reading on it, and I thought, okay, so it either looks like a poo or a sausage on a stick. And so I did my little reading, and I kind of thought, yeah, it kind of feels like a turd on a stick, and so it was kind of like I related it to what that was meaning to me at the time. And then I went to the booklet, just curious to see actually what it was, what the author had intended for it to mean. And it was exactly that. It was exactly a discussion about sometimes life is shit and you just have to accept the fact that life is shit. And sometimes it's like, you've got shit on a stick and there's nothing you can do about it apart from accept it and let it go. You can't change it, you can't improve it. It's just shit on a stick that's been given to you, and it's stuck there in your life right now. And the only thing that you can do, and this is me now putting my interpretation around it, is to basically like put this brilliant, wonderful orb of golden light, a sunshine around it, and to say just to shine sunlight on your stick, and to reframe it. So don't look at it like shit on a stick. Look at it like a sausage on a stick. You know, like we have the metaphor of a carrot on a stick. It's like, look at it as a sausage on a stick. It's something that's like motivating you to travel forwards over this hurdle towards the next thing, towards a better, brighter future. And this shit on the stick, which you've now turned into a sausage, is like this kind of like thing that's guiding you towards this, you know, the sunlight at the end of the dark, gloomy tunnel. So I rather enjoyed that card. I thought it was quite funny and fun. And it spoke to me perfectly that day. So yeah, that's the last one I'll show you. So they're quite fun. They're kind of very, very different. Maybe you like them, maybe you don't. I think they're very good to spark creativity. So you can kind of like do a reading from these cards, pull a few at a time, sit down, try and like, you know, read into them. What are they saying to me today? Write some little notes and then kind of like join the dots across them. And, you know, maybe just write a couple of words for each card or a sentence for each card, and then like join them together to actually get more of a message. Like, I don't know, use it as a fortune card perhaps. So we pick this one and we go, okay, today this looks like an eye to me. So open your eyes. This one could be kind of an eye again, but about balancing energies, or it could be, so we look at it and we think, okay, so the moon, let's see the moon as well in it. So balancing energies. So I don't know, in order to see clearly and in more colour, in order to bring more colour into my life in terms of how I view the world, it's bright and colourful and cheerful, in order to achieve more joy in that respect. You need to kind of balance your chakras, and maybe by turning to the lunar energy, the energy of the moon instead of the energy of the sun, you can draw more balance into your life, because that the energy that you're needing is not one of grounding, it's actually one of like kind of like airy upliftedness. And then this one kind of like feels a bit like, I don't know, it feels like a plant, yeah. So like a flower, a strange exotic flower growing, or maybe also like a brain. The first thing that jumped into my head was a brain. So maybe it's like, and then, you know, that all of that, like that you've kind of like integrated with the seeing with more joy and the looking to the moon to balance your energies. Maybe that then is just brought down into the brain so that it can process and be integrated. So, you know, that could be an interpretation of those three cards, perhaps. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that and that little mini lesson as well at the end. Please like this video if you like it. Subscribe if you would like to, you know, keep up with new videos that I'm posting, which I am doing all the time. I also do like a weekly forecast for the week ahead, which you might find interesting and useful. And if you would like to find out more about what I do, read articles on different tarot readings that I've done, like every kind of like time I do a bigger reading, I try to write a blog article about it as well, going into it deeper, giving kind of like a different perspective, and also allowing you to read and to look at the cards at the same time as watching the video. So you might find that helpful to kind of like read the article, look at the article at the same time as watching the video, if you could do it like on your phone and your iPad or laptop at the same time. And you can also contact me via my website as well if you'd like to ask me a question, or if you would like to book a private reading with me. And I will see you back here next time, hopefully, or at some point in the future. Thank you for watching.